there, lovely. Good morning and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Today, on a Thursday like this one, my name is Joe Smarter, and of course, I am joined on set by Mr. Geshom Kapalaula. He is Zanarela Executive Director. You'll be telling us what Zanarela means. Now, we host him as the country celebrates 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which came to an end on the 10th of this particular month, which was on Tuesday. And of course, this is a period used as an organized strategy by governments, non-governmental organizations, churches, individuals, and other groups to call for the elimination of all forms of violence against women. Now, this year, the campaign aims at mobilizing around the priorities of Beijing Plus 30 review through emphasizing the agency of strengthening accountability of ending violence against women and girls. People who experience GBV may suffer from different human rights violations, for example, the right to life, freedom from torture and degrading treatment, freedom from discrimination, and the right to safety and security. And obviously, to help us discuss issues that have to do with GBV and also human rights, Mr. Kapalaula, he's here with us. Sir, good to see you and welcome.
Thank you so much, and good morning, Joss, and good morning, viewers.
Okay, fantastic. Now, let's begin first of all with those that are hearing this name for the first time. Zanarela. What does it really mean?
The acronym Zanarela means the Zambian Network of Religious Leaders Living with or Personally Affected by HIV. And Zanarela has been in existence since 2005, and we are situated at Urimatao.
Okay.
Yes, and as Zanarela, we are here this morning.
Okay, fantastic. Good to have you here. And you, the viewers out there, can take part in this particular discussion by coming through and calling the numbers on your TV screen, or alternatively calling 0973-8527-00 to be part of this discussion, and also engage us via our Facebook page. That's Camnet TV. Search for the page, leave a comment or your question or contribution. Now, coming to you, Mr. Kapalaula, I want to find out what can be done to call upon member states to accelerate action and implementation of international and regional conventions, implementing laws to prevent and respond to violence against women and girls with adequate resources. Let's begin from there.
Yes, thank you so much. When we look at member countries, it's very important whenever we sign international treaties, or we have to domesticate them so that we move together in tandem, because we've seen what violence can do. It degrades humanity, and not only that, it makes the quality of life of people who are victims or who are affected to actually live lives of no trauma, and they'll not be productive. So because of that, we're calling upon our member states to take this seriously, that we domesticate all the treaties, all the international pieces of tools that we sign against violence.
Okay, and just on that score again, let me throw in this question. Can the private sector play a part in the adoption and implementation of corporate policies of violence against women and girls, and how can this be achieved? Mr. Kapalaula.
Thank you so much. And when you look just at public policy or even governance, we know and realize that we have key stakeholders and even institutions that are critical in this, of which the private sector. But then even as we look at the private sector, we look first at the family.
Okay.
We look at the church, religion. We look at entertainment. We look at the media. We look at government, and we look at all healthcare systems. But then we cannot overemphasize the role of private sector in this situation, more especially the business community. Definitely, if every stakeholder came on board to sensitize people, to raise awareness, they will make a difference.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. And what can the law enforcement how can the law enforcement be strengthened so that the perpetrators are held accountable through gender responsive policing?
For sure, and in fact, one of the key issues, first and foremost, I'm not too keen with, more especially with our law enforcers when we come to the training around gender. Because a long time, all we used to see is most of the times the police was just regarded as a force. Now it's a service. So probably their curriculum, are they covering enough ground? That aside, even if they're not doing that, we know they have a section on the VSU. So VSU to us, the men who are handling that are very qualified, but they are not enough. So when it comes to enforcement, they need to work with the community, with the faith-based community as ourselves. But we've not actually been working together to say at a higher level, but would want to see that for them to really enforce, they need to depend on human rights. I mean human resource, of which the faith community where I'm coming from is a very huge human resource that if we work together with law enforcers, it will make their work easier and see that most of the gender-based violence will be reported and dealt with decisively.
Okay. Now, seeing that you are a faith-based organization, and the Camnet TV also is a Christian. Let me use the word Christian.
Sure.
Is a Christian related channel which upholds good morals. Now, the question that I want to ask is a bit controversial, but it also borders on gender-based violence.
Sure.
Let's look at our sisters, should I call them, that engage in prostitution. These also go to our churches, we congregate with them, we live in the same neighborhoods with them, but at night they go about and engage in prostitution. They are the mostly abused individuals. Cases are there reported, they are abused. How can we handle such cases, in as much as we know that engaging in such is illegal in Zambia and it's against the law, but these are things that are happening? How do you help them as an organization?
Thank you so much. This industry is as old as humanity can be. Even when we investigate this from the sacred texts, from the Bible, from the Gita, from the Quran, you would find that there were temple sex workers. There were, even in the Bible, where we've seen like the lady was brought before Jesus to say, this lady has been caught up in an act of sex and we need to kill or stone her. Then Jesus said, hey, whoever has not sinned, you throw the stone first. And then it turned out that no one threw the stone at her, and then Jesus said, no one has stoned you, but go and sin no more. So when we borrow those principles from there and look at the records that we have from the Bible and other sacred texts, sex work has been there for a long time. But I would want people to also understand that there's sex work and sex workers. There's a difference between a sex worker and sex work. So when we look at people engaged in sex work, sometimes there's this word that is used against them, say prostitutes. But then when you just look at that, those that are visible are those that parade themselves. But there are other people who are using various forms like a phone to get in touch with their clients. It's very difficult to even know that they exist. But then those that actually are in the open, they suffer a lot of violence. Every human being has got dignity. Even if they're sex workers and the sex work is prohibited or rather is criminalized in Zambia, that does not mean they don't need other services. They would need to come to our churches. Let's talk to them so that they can live meaningful lives. I'll give a very good example. In Zanarela, we have formed support groups for sex workers. We've support groups in Chawama, we've support groups in Garden, support groups in Chainda, and dotted in Lusaka, but also even in Nimba and other places. What would love to see? We give a listening ear to them. What has been the push and pull factors? Why did they join this industry? They've shared quite a lot, but from our investigations, we've realized that socio-economic issues tend to be high. So meaning we are not addressing their social and economic rights, or rather even their status. We've not improved their status. As a result, others have complained, no, we would love to stop sex work, but what would be the alternative? Where do we get our source of income to pay our rentals, to pay school fees for our children? But then we have now to look at where should we now have a balance with yes, on one hand, sex work is criminalized. On one hand, these are human beings who need actually, we need to have solutions for them. And that is why as Zanarela, we don't judge, we don't condemn, but we dialogue with these people, have conversations, and see how best we can better their lives.
Okay, fantastic. Dear viewers, you can come through on that number that is scrolling on your TV screen. That's 0973852700. Please feel free to come through, and also you can engage us via our Facebook page. Leave your comment there or a question. We do have Mr. Gershom Kapalaula here from Zanarela, and we are discussing a number of issues regarding human rights and gender-based violence against women and girls. Now, let me ask you this question. How can we ensure that women and marginalized groups access meaningful gender-based responsive justice while they can seek remedies without fear of negative consequences?
For sure, with one thing that we really have to be mindful of, in most cases, many people in society would want to deal with the problem instead of, first of all, preventing the problem.
Okay.
Or a case before it happens. So what we've realized as Zanarela is that early reach is prevention.
Okay.
If you reach young people, children as early as 7, 8 years with appropriate information on violence, they will not be perpetrators. Instead, now they will be there to uphold. But now what we are seeing is even young people are coming, they are bullying their friends. They are actually part of this problem. So the issue is they've not gotten the information as early as possible so that they can buy into the values of non-violence. So that is a very critical issue. But then when we look at all these put together, yes, now some people are already in the scenario where they are victims, they are survivors. So then what do we do about this? We uphold human dignity, as I said.
Oh.
And as Zanarela, we are dealing with what we call the SIDIM, the 6 evils.
Okay.
One evil is stigma. The other evil is how to help people to deal with shame.
Okay.
The other evil is discrimination. Then the other evil is denial, where you deny facts that are happening. Then we have inaction. People tend not to take any action when they see a wrong happening. And then lastly, misaction. Sometimes people overreact towards certain issues. So the way we look at, even when a sex worker comes, maybe they come at church, some of them may come just in their regalia, in their uniform. I think every one of us will frown when we see them with what they wear at night. But then to talk to such a people, if someone came in such a scenario, we have to find ways and means of involving people that can handle such a situation. Not to condemn outright at the first instance, but try to talk to that person and say, no, look, you are dressed inappropriately, maybe where you've come to this event, other than what we see in town. Sometimes when someone is just putting on what people may perceive as inappropriate, they start whistling and then tear the person's clothes, and that kind of an approach is not acceptable even if you have a different perception. So what we are simply saying is, all of us, let's have this tolerance and look at diversity. But then from there, if you dialogue, you'll be able to reach at a certain point or even compromise. And that person is okay and may buy values from you. But if you come out like, hey, you are the sin, and you actually scare such a person.
Okay. Now, for those that are just joining us, obviously, they would like to find out what is the relationship between gender-based violence and human rights. Mr. Kapala.
Thank you so much. We all know that human rights are inalienable rights that can never be taken away from you. The life, the right to life, the right to food, and all these other issues. And then when we look at the aspect of gender-based violence, any violence that will affect someone emotionally, physically, economically, even mentally, if you are part of the person that has created problem to someone's thinking, or rather living, then there is that relationship. When we look at, on one hand, the rights, and on the other hand, violence. Violence in whatever form is retrogressive. And what we expect to see is people to respect rights, but at the same time we know every right holder should also have responsibilities and should have duties. So what we want to see outrightly is a citizenry who is functional. If we have citizens who are junky and who cannot function, then what are we going to see from our social lives, from our all lives that we are living? It will not have value. We'll be living in fear. You know, sometimes in Lusaka, when you look at sometimes there's just this wave of unruly street kids. They call themselves fluffies, some of them are junkies. They steal our space and we are not free to even walk in certain spaces at certain times. And such kind of life, if unchecked, it will deteriorate to a situation whereby lawlessness will settle in and will not have a good quality of life.
Okay, now let me find out from you. You've talked about society, but what social norms can be transformed in trying to raise awareness regarding violence against women and girls and create a zero tolerance across society?
Thank you so much. What we know is if someone is aware, then people who are aware want to do something about the awareness that they've accessed.
Okay.
And immediately they do that, they would want to have skills. And people have skills, they are motivated to do things without anyone telling them. So what we are simply saying here is socialization is based on, first and foremost, the values that one upholds. From one's upbringing, would realize that on one end, there's education, the other hand, there is the socialization, and there's also the attitude. Someone's attitude. As you are growing, you find that some children are so violent at as early as 4. As early as 3, then you start wondering, what type of human beings are these children going to be? So it comes back to our value systems. What values are we inculcating in our children? Yes, at first, at family level, we'll be saying, our values, but we want children to stand on my values. These are my values. Once children buy out into the values, some people's value system in their homes, it's honest, it's non-violence. But others, they teach their children to be violent as young as they are. We leave them to even watch very violent movies. What outcome do you expect to see if parents do not have any parental guidance on what children and at what age and what type of movies can they watch? Children be free for all. We have to really know and understand that children have got plastic minds. They pick up anything, and if we leave them pick up the values of violence, they'll be violent to them, starting from the neighborhood and then at school. Then from there it will escalate into something that will not be looked at in a better eye.
Okay, as we begin to wind up, let me find out what is the mandate of your organization, Mr. Kapala?
Thank you so much. When you look at our vision is a world free from HIV through comprehensive faith response.
Okay.
So that mandate drives us to our mission, where we're looking at empowering religious leaders to be models and change agents so that they can contribute positively in the communities they are living. So we draw our mandate from that. Okay. And against that, that is where now you see that we are into social justice, we are into gender justice, we are into climate justice, and in child rights governance. So, and HIV. So these now guide what we really do in communities. So we have what we call congregational response. We are open to any church, any religion to work with us. Currently we are working with the Muslims and with the Baha'is and with dotted Christians from various denominations. So when we work through a contact person, either it could be a clergy or it could be a leader of a choir. So that one, we start working with them and create some kind of like a space or clubs at such forums, so that we can bring people and have deeper conversations on what we are standing for. So we have quite a number of tools. So for a person to start with that, we first of all capacitate them. We have some manuals that we use. We have what we call a safe toolkit. We have also manuals on religious leaders with sex work, and also religious leaders on how they can handle comprehensive sexuality education. Because when we realize the church is not spared, teenage pregnancies, for instance, early marriages, then you look at unintended marriages as well. The church is not, we are grappling with these issues, so we are saying, hey, let's put our heads together, and that's the mandate of Zanarela to address these issues.
Okay, and in conclusion, what is your call to action for men to engage in the gender-based fight to end GBV?
Thank you so much. As just said, my name's Geshem, but my name is Geshem, but my mother's name is Naomi. My father's name is Kapalawa. But many people just want to use the names of their fathers. Where are their mothers in this picture? So wherever you go, even if you came at the office and say, we want Naomi, the people won't miss it. They'll find out, oh, I'm Naomi. Why am I trying to bring out this? Men, let's get involved in the women issues. Women are trainers. Men are just there to provide guidance.
Okay.
So now if you leave this trainer, you don't give the support to this trainer, and with you now, you want to perpetrate violence against this trainer, I can rest assure you, train a woman, you train the entire nation. Women have got their own, yes, they are helpers. So now as men, let these helpers actually bring out their potential, and you realize that it is important. And because of that, I'm in most spaces, regionally and even nationally, they call me an honorary woman. On issues of women, I don't raise. So I appeal to all men, please. Okay. Men, husbands, that's a house band. You have to really be the band around your women folk. Okay.
Okay. Men, you have heard it for yourselves. Let's take an active role in making sure or ensuring that we participate actively in gender-based violence, ending the vice, not actively participating to perpetrate the vice, but no, ending the vice of gender-based violence. It has been me, Joe Sparta, and obviously Mr. Geshem Kapalaula from Zanarela. He is the National Executive Director. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapalaula, for coming through. Hope this is not the first and last time we are having.
For sure. We will definitely, it's not the first and last. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, and thank you so much for coming through. But we take a quick break. When we come back, we are taking you to Monali constituency of Lusaka province as we look at some of the challenges that this vast constituency is facing, and obviously bringing the solutions to the table as we continue counting down to 2026. The political calendar is ticking very fast, and as electorates, obviously, you're bracing yourselves for the big one. But we go on a break. When we come back, we continue with Camnet TV Breakfast. Please do stay tuned.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In forgotten stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe. is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Okay, thank you so much for still joining us on the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. Now, like I said, that we are going to Munali constituency of Lusaka province to appreciate some of the challenges that this constituency is facing, and also, more importantly, bring about some of the solutions to these challenges that will be identified. And to help me discuss this very important topic that borders on Munali constituency is Mr. Crispin Chinda. He is the 2026 Munali constituency aspiring candidate, popularly known as Chris Moore. Good to see you, Mr. Chinda, and good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Joe. I think Camnet is becoming my home, my second home now. Yeah, I'm happy to be with you here, and I hope the people, the viewers that are following us on Facebook and also on Camnet TV channel 274, we enjoy the program.
Okay, fantastic. And you, the viewers, particularly if you are from Munali constituency, please utilize the number below there, scrolling rather on your TV screen, and let's get interactive. Mr. Chinda, Munali constituency comes with its own challenges. Let's begin by identifying, before you can even identify, let's talk about your passion for Munali constituency. Where does it come from? Why have you been so consistent advocating for Munali, helping people in Munali? And where does this passion come from? Let's begin from there.
Yeah, so my passion for Munali comes from me as a son of Munali.
Okay.
I keep saying that in Munali we've never had a person growing up in Munali constituency and becoming an MP in Munali. And this is where we are drawing the passion, because this has been a talk in our circles within Munali constituency that surely don't we have the capacity as the sons of Munali or daughters of Munali to stand up and preside over the Munali constituency, because we know the challenges we are facing and the challenges we have faced over the years, and we know the solutions. And this is why every time I say that my leadership is community leadership, because at any given time the community will be engaged to find a solution on what we're supposed to do, and our job is to provide leadership in the community so that we can we can sort out many challenges that we have. For example, in any particular locality, there are people that have been there for a longer period of time and have the wisdom of the community itself. They understand it better. So when there's a challenge there, there's a problem there, when you call the community, someone will be able to give you history of that problem. And once you have the history in hand, you'll be able to handle it better. It's the same as when you go to the clinic or hospital, the doctor will ask you how long has your headache, when did it start, and what medication have you taken, so that the doctor should know which medication to give you. So it's the same even in our leadership, that we would want to find. Some of the problems we have in Munali are historical. The water problems has been historical because I'm 47 now, and growing up in Mtendere, we had these problems of water, and up to now these problems are still there. And that when the Millennium Challenge, after the project, water and sanitation project started, we were very, very excited as people of Munali, particularly in Mtendere, Kaunda Square and Mtendere East, that at least Manjapa, we're going to have no problems of water. And we were so anxious for the project to be completed, so that we can have now flushable toilets. You know, in Mtendere we've been told that we cannot drill boreholes because the water down is contaminated. Because we've had the Petratrine for over the years. So we've been told that we cannot drill boreholes from there because the water is not safe for drinking. So we can only depend on piped water. The only ones that can drill boreholes is Mtendere, is Kablonga Extension, maybe also Mtendere East because it's a new community. But Kalikiriki, Mtendere, we've been told that the water down is contaminated because we've been using Petratrine for a long time. So when we were told that we have to do the toilets so that we can install flushable toilets, and the pipe and the sewer line will be nearby, we can just connect, and we were very, very excited. And at least, but it has its own teething problems. You find there's water now. Well, there's no water because of being attributed to load shedding, and that some of the toilets are not yet completed, some of the toilets are not yet connected. So these are the teething problems. But I'm hoping to see that all our households will be connected to sewer line and will be flushable. Will have flushable toilets.
Okay. Now, Mr. Chinda, just taking you a little bit back from what you said, you said Munali needs a person that appreciates the challenges.
Yes.
A son of Munali. Are you then telling me and my viewers out there that over the years, the people that have stood on the Munali ticket have been imported? They are not really Munalians. But they are not really from Munali constituency.
Yes. Let me tell you that Munali was created in 1973.
Okay.
And the first MP for Munali was Mainza Chona.
Okay.
He has no history in Munali, to have grown up in Munali, anywhere in Munali.
Okay.
The second MP that came in 1978 was the former President Lupia Banda.
Okay.
And former President Lupia Banda had no history of growing up in Munali constituency.
Okay.
The MP that followed was Simeon Kampata. He stayed in Kalingalinga, but he was a headmaster at Munali Secondary School then.
Okay.
The only connection with him was that he was a teacher. He was a head teacher there at Munali Secondary, and he stayed in Kalingalinga because apparently Kalingalinga is one of the oldest communities we have in Munali.
Okay.
Yeah. So but there's no history that he grew up in Munali constituency. Then the other one is Rupia Banda came back after Mr. Simeon Kampata. Rupia Banda came back, and after Rupia Banda there was Ronald Penza in 1991 after the first in multi-party system, and Ronald Penza had no connections in Munali to say, oh, he stayed there or he stayed where. according to what we know, he grew up somewhere in Kawata and Chirenje there.
Okay.
So after Simeon Kampata, after Ronald Penza, in 1996, we had Sonny Mulenga. Sonny Mulenga was a businessman. The only thing that we know was that he owned the Chainama Hotel, if you remember. That Chainama Hotel.
Okay.
The owner is Sonny Mulenga, and he became. But there's no history that he grew up from Nadi constituency. After Sonny Mulenga, there was Edith Nawakwi in 2001, and Edith Nawakwi has no history of staying in Munali, anywhere in Munali.
Okay.
In 2006, there was Madame Mumbipili. Again, there's no history that she was born and bred in Munali constituency. Yeah. After then, there was, in 2011, there was Madame Kanduluo. Again, there's no history that she grew up in Munali constituency. 2021, we had Mike Imposha up to now, but there's no history that he's born and bred in Munali constituency. Yes, he has businesses in Munali, but that is the only thing that connects him to Munali constituency. He is not born and bred in Munali constituency. Me as Crispin Chinda, the next incoming MP for Munali constituency in 2026, I have grown up in Munali constituency. Nyumba iyo izivika nozivika kuti ngachoka che kuja kumalasha ngati mwenda kukabzimo pa kona che monga mwenda ku police pa nyumba ku side ku left hand side ngati chenda ku police side before pa hamp che opposite chap pa na tomato sponge. That is where I grew up from. That is everyone to see. They can even
Your
go and
roots are
find
in
out.
Munali?
Yes, my roots are in Munali. Anyone can go and see there. Tinakulira mu Katolika ise. Pa manyumba tenze abantu batunzi ba aksho tenze mu St. Cornelius, youths were even singing in choir. Tenze ma competition ya choir pa Catholic Church pa Mary Queen of Peace. Nde pa Mary tinakulira pa Mary patch. And then schools, I went to Kapete Primary School, just for school, but I would come back for holidays. I come back home in Mtendere. In grade 8, I went to Magoe Basic School in Southern Province, but holidays, I come back home. In grade 10, I went to Livala Secondary School outside Munali. But staying my roots muchombo wanga ina ilimo Munali constituency. So the even when kuja kuri Kablonga extension kuja tenzoita na kwa kuchitika kuja nikuche ni tenzoita na kwa kuchitika tenzosoberera kutenzopira kontete kuja ku transmitter kuja ku karikiriki kuja ndi kwetenzotera mabora kuja ukalingalinga kuja tenzoindotera mabora kuja ukalingalinga. There was a bush actually between Kalingalinga and Zoperera Papari Clinic, Papenzel Bevilvons Patch.
Okay.
So Tenzochoka Bakutumatica Gole Paraffin, Uchoka Kuja Kumtendere Namendo, the only filling station which is the oldest, Niabenejet pa mass media patch. Total, yes, Niabu Dalaj. We used to walk from there, going to Fika patch. And then it's Capezapa the Paraffin Pari Betenda Colonic guys. Namendo. That's how we grew up kuja kumtendere. Kuja kuja ku golf club. Ndia kudara na eve golf club. Yes, in fact tenzo yopa kwa kupita kwa kuja tuweza kushitata. Muntime yatu kwa bwangara no negaragata tinenzo ngala kwa kuja kuja ukanga tusupita bwino baza kumenya kuja kuside. Then kuja kuside ku ngatumwenda ku PHI kuja kwenzeko kwa Zulu kuja. Kwenze shop very famous shop. Kwa Zulu. Then kwenda down kuchitukuko kuja kwenzeko kwa Jenia kuja. Then kwenda ku down foot kuja kwa Msonda ni tavern ya chihu kucheda. Na hivi ni yakudala na hivi. Then kuja kuside pa mazimo oyo paja ndiye benzo shitika. Pa mazimo oyo paja. Then kwenda ku down kangena kwa mkati pale. Pa mangani then kuseka kuja kuside. So then ukuside kuli kukodimuziwa. Then kulipa maimba paja pa Catholic Church paja baja wonse bakampenga benze pa Mtendere parish paja bari manje size yanga manje bakumbuka bazi wanozi I think waseka ngati wanivera ngambati apa tuzona uyu so we'll keep demonstrating then kuja kuja nde kwenzi che ground ija mahati magani ground nde ground etenzotera ako che kuchitukuko bakabomanga New Mtendere ndienze ground ya chitukuko.
Okay.
But kuja ku Mahatma Gandhi ndi ground yamene takula nayo ndi ground ya tikulisa izo. So it is very important for me when I take over Munali to look after that ground. So that because I know that olokuteko ngati olwafana the entertainment instead ya kuti tukazimwa mobao kazista bwanje uenda ku ground, you spend a lot of time there just to develop. Others have become beneficial tembo aliko na maji kuja. He from there and then he still stays there. He was playing in the national team, even outside. So we have a lot of history, very good history in Munali constituency. And this is why I keep demonstrating to the people of Munali that this time around, don't waste vote for someone else. Let's vote for ourselves, because voting for Crispin Chinda in Munali in 2026, they will be actually voting for themselves, because I know these challenges. And then in the Panapa age, Pamela Nafika, we are the parents. Vambili wanzatu uloenda okarikirigi wenda pa ground sunga shote kuona kwa mzako ushita ukamba kuli George rifari kuja ushita na ukamba ati FIFA atmanje huyu mtina history pamoja. So pa pedna kulako che after ti ufuna kwatira that's when I moved to Choston kuside kuchakonkola kuja. My wife there, my firstborn Chris is 22 now. He was born from there. So nakweve kuja kuchakonkola we have made history. Okay. We have my children have grown up from there, and after nachoka kuchakonkula side na bwana nda Choston Green, after Choston Green na bwana mangako nyumba kuja kwa Obama. Then there's still more pada pali Chris more pada penzecheka churu na sanga che. Then he decided to clear off ija time ya MMD mu 2007-2008. They cleared off that same area, and then I built where it is now called Chrismore. So Chrismore is famous because pamene benze kumanga kuja kuside I motivated a lot of people because kuside kwenye madido and then kwenye chemanga tumanyumba toa kumunzi. In fact it's a solid name. Tuja tuma block tuma panga na kakopo to around tuziva tuja benzo titana timadindo. So ndeto wenzo mangira nyumba tumene tuja so ndeto wenzeko kuja. So that's why in the madindo. But then people are ipondora changala to madido. Then you go side who my guys in Shija time 2008 in Obama and president of America. So then they said and then that particular time my guys were MMD. I was the only businessman they knew. So benzo bwera kuli kuti tijiwire nkonti gulire nkonti usimbi tikeko mabiko ko Obama. So that's how na road dijaenda ko Obama. I graded that road for a longer period of time. Kuja ko Obama, my house, the house that I built in Obama was the third house. Ninapeza koche manyumba ya viti. Then ninapana mangako nyumba yanga. Okay. Tangana manyumba ya tatu. Nishi the whole place. It's just a bush. Yeah, so I even helped manje kuja ku grade kama road. Then I even had land there in 2011 because in a system akutati nikapeza nikagula plot nifunika na manga first na series then depenzamba penango. So ninatenga land kuja meantime nishini manga Chrismo page. So at time this series Chrismo ni Shanghai 2011. Then the PF came in. Kuja kuside kuja the cadres invaded my area. And then they started the marketing from there. So, but being a person who appreciates all these things, I said sometimes in life you lose some, you win some.
Yes.
More life. So I moved on. So that's history. All over the Christmas pamene ba Penzeri road kumbuyo pa pewa kama masandi guys pale. I had to grade that road for the people going kuja kuma power lines, kwenda kuma solar ponds kuja. It is me who graded that road. And then Papa Christmas pamene I did the water and all those houses they never had water. So they were drawing water from Christmas to build their houses, and even now they're still drawing water from Christmas free of charge because somehow we need to give back to the community. Even if you're a businessman, you need to give back to the community that you live in. And this is my encouragement even now that when you're doing business in the community, do a promotion. Ni time ya Christmas, So think about the community that gives you business. What is it that you're giving them? Wasunga kocheo ka 100 kwacha, you go and give it to someone in the community. Then you are giving back in the community. And for me, that is how I have lived my life, because even then people were coming and I was helping out before I even joined politics. So politics, actively in politics, I only joined politics in 2014, and immediately in 2014 wabwanu that Kamanga market hapa tilibe public toilet. So as my mashitoenda kumanyumba kwao nobwera food. So I went there, ninapeza waikachishala, so pachishala pa umkabongena ku market ku right hand side. Chishala chemaning. So I cleared off that, and then I started building an ablution block for our people. Iyomanje towards 2016, then kwa councillor wa mwetwa, then thereafter I even handed over now to him so that he can complete. So that ablution block is working for the people of Kamanga.
Okay.
Yes, and then paper pa Kamanga na Ashton na toshtika che kutanza ko chevantu. Then food manje manje pamenapa water pump wins, and it broke down. So when they reached out to me, I said, no, I cannot compromise. This is my home. It's like my home. So niza and nizagula pump in and zabatish then install. So we installed the water pump there. The only challenge is the electricity, which has troubled all of us now. Okay. It's a time ya COVID. Pamene Papa Christmas, what I did was that I went there, looked at my people, my tenants there. They were not making anything. So what did I do? I just decided to cancel 3 months rentals for my people there at Christmas, because all of us were troubled and they could not pay, they could not manage to pay rent. So that's how I've always put myself in the shoes of the people, and for my inspiration or my aspiration to stand as a member of parliament is being supported by a lot of our people in Munali. Especially my age that knows Munali better. They are fully supporting that. At least let's have someone who understands how we live in Munali. So nankalani support na mabola mosi anasiana kumkolo ground kuja. Up to now, people are still telling me, well, Chris, pay attention to Mukolo ground. The ground is very important to us, and I know that it's a ground because it pakati ni Mukolo, because manzi yapwera okuni pansi. You know what it means? Ni kumkolo pe pankalache manzi. You know, everything has a meaning. Although the other history that we have in Munali, Padapari Chainama. Chainama is actually a Soli name. Okay. Me, where I come from, my mother's side is a Soli. Okay. Yes, my father's side is a Tonga. So I grew up on the side of my mother, because kuja Kapete kujani is a Soli land. So we could speak Soli as children, and growing up we were speaking Soli and understand the meanings of these things. And this is why, again, I'll be an advocate that history that we learn in school must be overhauled, so that we start learning our own history in this country. Okay. So part of the history also touches in Munali is the Chainama. What it means is that it's a Soli name saying Chainama. When something is good, when something is good, and then you're like telling your mother, my mother in Soli is Ma. So that Chainama was a building that was being occupied by Christian brothers. Okay. For Catholic Church. So they handed it over to government in 1963. Okay. And then it was named that Chainama, meaning that China is into China Maningi. So Chainama. So that's how now people who could not understand it properly, they just said, it's Chainama. You know? So manje, vantu manje mukombo mwa tuna stigma hili kwenye kutati ngati muntu apitako kuchainama kuja, at least manje we are improving now, but at that time nzokamba huyu ni Chainama kesi ukashitako cheka ngono huyu ni Chainama. That was a huge stigma that we've lived with. And Chainama the mental health hospital is only in Munali constituency. The entire country is in Munali constituency. So when you go there, I went there to appreciate the challenges that the facility is going through. It has never been updated. It has never been upgraded. From 1963, we're still using the same facility. So it is within my vision that I'll lobby for development so that that Chainama is upgraded, and then we also increase some services there so that people don't think that only when you go to Chainama, people should now appreciate that when you go to Chainama, you're going there for mental health services, for counseling, and for these other things. Our mental health is very, very important, so we need to pay attention to it. Right now, our stress levels in our communities is very high because of economic reasons. So we need to also pay attention to that facility so that our people can get services there without being stigmatized. So we have also padapa nichokeko pangona umnali nanda kuwinjimfumu.
Okay.
What happened there Winjimfumu, that name, how it came about is that the Solis lived there in North Mid area. There was a village for the Solis.
Okay.
So the only treasure that the other tribe would go and attack the other tribe, it was women. Women was a treasure at that particular time, because mukankara na wazmai, then you know that your village will grow, your tribe will grow, and just your chiefdom will grow. Because they'll be having children, and those children will be part of the kingdom or the chiefdom.
Okay.
So the Lozis, that's why the Lozis and the Solis, they play Chimboya. So the Lozis came and got the women when the youths were in Libala. Libala, in Libala there, it's a field. It's a
okay.
Yeah, we call it Libala, because it is a field. So they went to Livala, in Livala there. That's where they were doing the field. Yes, from Winjimfumu, yes. Na kudala kai konzebe mamotoka. So so ndo pezi ka distance wakamba ati ni hapo paja. Nisha osa ukakupeleka kumunza wakamba to peti mata pamanzi ni hapo patipelekezeni. Uzalema. I went there, my uncle died, and then nasi ya motoka pamunzi. Wabanuza tia pamanda mpafupi tena chetende na ise ukonda mweti maendelea na bantu so chabe. Ninalema.
But for them,
so now,
it's near.
It's near to them, yes. So now, let me finish about Winjimfumu. So when the youths came back, when I was that, no, these people have been here and they've gotten your mothers. So you have to go there and get them back. So my youths wanapo ambako pishamu. Then paja pana wana sala paja venche mfumu che maidmen che nde wana kwa sala. And then the only way to maintain fire at that particular time is to add more fire.
Yes.
Then the fire will be maintained. And then the ones that were doing that were youths. And those youths are the ones that went to fight now to get back their mothers. So by the time they came back, walapezati muliro wazima. So now one of the youths said, winji wa mfumu washima muliro. Washimi muliro. Ndiye mchisoli. Winji wa mfumu washimi muliro. So now when these people came, the whites said, ni Winjimfumu. So Lilai, it was a place where when they were walking from hunting, then wakafika paja, it was a safe place. So kama chati, Lilai lisuwa tenti pomole pano. Meaning zuba yaenda, so tenti pomole pano. So that's the Lilai that we know there. It was a safe place, yes. When they were walking back to the villages after hunting, kuti tenti pomole pano, it was Lilai. Chilenje has mixed, because they say that Chilenje, some of it is a tree, some of it is long grasses, grass. Yes. So, but Lusaka has that rich history that we need to bring to school, documented, because our history is not documented. So someone has to document this history so that we can take back to in our books, so that our young people start learning, start knowing how these some of these institutions or some of these places are named after, so that they can appreciate where we are coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically that is that. So that is how I know Monari constituency, and that at least when you know history, like I said, the doctor will ask you when the problem started, what medication you've taken before cures you, gives you the medicine to cure you. So, and that is how I understand Monari. I understand some of these problems we have. The sewer system has been historical. Matoilet sa tuyana pangira za kaunda. Inza after tuana kumbache kachan kapansi kaja.
Yes.
Then ka assistant kalipamwamba mushtu donsa kantama.
Oh, kantama.
Then mukadonsa ja mwe jande bathroom ya mene jande toilet. So and then mapai pia nze angono with the increase in terms of population cheaper. So eventually it started erupting, and that has been a problem. But I'm happy now that manzi ulokumakabwata section kuja ulokuja sisia oneka. So I know that the contractor started in time of the PF, and it continued even the time of UPND, and I don't see water coming out from there. So I'm happy when I see that things are working out, because every time we need to be improving. So I'll be very happy that we do everything possible in Monari, trying to put everything that we need to put in place, and appreciating that our communities are growing in terms of population. So even the leadership must be up to date in trying to give services to our people. So there's a lot of things that we need to do in Monari, and 2026 is fast coming. So our people must at least this time around, let's have someone who has the history of Monari, who move with us with time, and he has the solutions, and the solutions lies in the people. And me as Crispin Chinda, as member of parliament, my duty will be to provide leadership.
Okay. Now, Mr. Chinda, let's talk about your consistency. We haven't heard that you've moved from this camp to that camp to this camp, like some politicians do. My question to you is that where do you get this consistency? How have you managed to be this consistent in your political journey?
Joe, you see, sometimes it's a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult sometimes, because people don't move because they want to move.
Okay.
But kumangala che my forces che that you think guy we are just people. The history has it that kwambira myonipi. Pamene banashita weekend yonipi. Niba jabantu banachuka myonipi kwendo panga MMD. And then the people that weekend, the MMD, it is those that came from MMD to form the PF. Okay. And the people that weekend the PF are the people that were in PF and moved to another political party. Even the UPND itself, it will not be weakened by outside forces. Outside forces, outside the outsiders, just benefits from the confusion that is
within.
There. Yes. So there's even this saying that when you are my brother and you are my brother, we are brothers with you, and then we are fighting, the person that is going to benefit is an outsider.
Yes.
So that is what happens. Even in these political parties, you find that there's these internal problems, and the person who's benefiting is an outsider. So the confusion that was there, because KK was more feared in there. So some people started to move away, and because they knew his weaknesses, they started now, they formed the MMD, and they capitalized on the weaknesses. They put pressure, and 3 years before the elections, he declared that no, we can go for an election, because he was confident that he's going to win the elections. And 1991 was the first revolution that we had in this country. So after MMD stayed in power for 20 years, kunankala change after that we are fatigued that MMD peina ambira MMD. I think there was also potential in Michael Sata. I said we need to change, this time to change, because Michael Sata was doing maybe the politics I'm doing. Some of it I can say that maybe I'm a student of Michael Sata's politics, because he reached out to the lowest person in the community. You go in the community, you go to a funeral, you go in the house. That is the kind of politics. You go in the funeral house, you sit down, You sit down inside there, you comfort the widow, or you comfort the widow, or you comfort the bereaved family in there. Then from there, when you are with them, you're mourning with them until that funeral process ends. And then ukaenda ngatondo tandala che waenda no wapezo wankala pampasa, you even sit with them, eat with them, and then wachoka. So you have that connection, and this is why in Munali constituency, PF was so loved that in 2006 they managed to beat the MMD with a not known, someone who was not known, like Mumbipili was not known.
In
Munali, yes, and she never had the money, the muscle in terms of money to buy all these materials. But because Vasata reached out to the lowest person in the community, so it became so loved, so much that anyone that stood on PF at a particular time under Michael Sata was going to win. Austin Chewe put in a lot of money there. Matishetsi, Makoloko, under MMDS. He had the vehicles, he had everything, but he lost to someone who was not known there. Then again, when you look at how Munali has been, it's not about the money. It's not propelled by the money. It's not propelled by the money. So it just depends on the connection that you have. So for me, I joined the PF. I have been with the PF until 2022.
Okay.
So, but in 2022, when there was that confusion there, so I said, maybe this confusion will not heal. And then my history, my many that party kachukapo, there's always, people will move to other political party and the like. So I decided to move. I went to the Socialist Party, but then I think in Socialist Party, my beliefs were not met.
Okay.
When seeing it from afar, we said, my kind of a person, the kind of politics that I would want is a political party that would deal with the young, the young people and also the poor people in the community. And Socialist Party and socialism itself, it has policies of helping the poor people. It's mainly a poor people's party, and it's a labor party, the working class and also the poor people in the community. So I thought this is an idea. When you looked at the UPND, it's a capitalist party. So I said that let me go to another, because the PF was called the pro-poor party.
Okay.
So I went to Socialist Party because the ideologies were similar to the PF. So there, because again, I could not. I didn't see that my beliefs were
right.
what it is. So I left, and when leaving, I'm now. I don't have a party now.
Okay.
All I want is that at least I've been very, very consistent in Munali, and the people. I haven't lost any direction. The people of Munali can be assured. I know in political circles others will say, no, you move from PF, you go to Socialist Party, and then you come back. Now you don't know where you are. You have no direction in politics. No, I have direction in politics because I've been very consistent in Munali, and I don't want to lose sight in Munali constituency until I save my people in Munali. I save my children in Munali. I save my brothers, my mothers, and everyone in Munali constituency. That is what I want. And before joining politics, it is very important for one to work on your own first. You achieve certain things on your own, so that when you go there, you just work for the people. You don't need to be kuti mushitolimbira na manje ukapeza ukapena ngazingati kekafuni kwenda ku bantu nayo ufuna onkala mwana touch.
That's why I want to ask Mr. Chinda, as we begin to wind up within a few minutes, quickly, there are some politicians that have said politics is where we go to retire. Politics is where we go to make the big bucks, the big money, the big quarters. You have a different perspective about all this?
Yes.
Yours is service to the community?
Yes, mine is to leave a good name in the community. I live in Munali. Basically, my family is in Munali. My friends are in Munali. My businesses are in Munali. My children are in Munali constituency. So there's no any other constituency that I know. So even after my time, I want to walk in Munali with my head high. I want to walk with my head high. This is what I did. This is what I did in Munali constituency. And even the people of Munali, even the young people behind me, who have that inspiration that nine and ifuna nikashite komunga bamene wanashitira ba Chris. That is what I think that we the direction we should take from my leadership.
Okay.
So that people now should be giving trust now to attempt to tengeche wamene wom wamuna mumnali, because he understands how we have lived in Mnali. In a pali ineche ni makumbwira ma constituencies monga Kawata constituency where roads are everywhere.
Yes.
You know, even the shortcuts you see na roads. So in any makumbwira ma constituencies also, because if I was an MP and a minister under Edgar Lungu, I think Monari wouldn't have been where it is now, because I would have made sure that we have a big share of roads, a large share of roads, just like Kawata, just like these other constituencies. Mumtendere mujasime tunapanga ma roads kuna bwino, Mtendere East tunapanga ma roads kwenda kuja ku JK Road, kwenda kuja ku Salama Park, because that connection is very important. As a shortcut, when you are coming from Chainda, you can pass through Salama Park, connect through JK Road, wabwera padapa mwale. If you want to go into Mtendere wando join Kablonga kuja. Those roads need to be done. And for me, I have said time and again that a road to us is not just a road for luxury. A road to us improves the economic status in our area, because there will be more traffic there. Buses azambo kufika kuja. My businesses bantu wazaika ko road, my businesses kuja. Bantu wazambo, there is a likelihood that people will see that business and will buying from them. Bajabana manyumba mbali muja. Bazaika mo rent muja manyumba mwao muja. Rent wazamba kushota manyumba muja. So a road to us is very, very important. It's not that all the time we'll be looking up to government to do something for us. But the plans I have for Monali is away from government. I know that on our own we can do. There are certain things we need to lobby, like roads are very expensive. So government, central government must help us to do the road, but there should be someone speaking for our people there. So my duty will be to lobby for development, and also to ensure that I'm speaking for the people in parliament and making the necessary laws that will also benefit my people in Monali constituency. Those are my primary duties that I'll hold in Monali constituency.
Okay. Mr. Chinda, as we go, why should that person watching right now in Monali constituency vote for you come 2026? Why should they choose Chris Mo?
Yeah, so we have demonstrated in Monali constituency with the consistency, and that our roots are known where we're coming from in Monali. The people of Chainda know that we've been interacting with them for a longer period of time, and we've done a lot of things together, including na draft competition hapo pa Kumbuyo kwa market na pa Manjiga hapo. That this person has been with us for a longer period of time, and kumangala chati olo kudbe ma elections olo kudbe ma campaigns, but I'm there with them. The people of Kalikiriki will remember that I have been going in churches, working with the churches, also helping out in the community schools, orphanages, sponsoring football tournaments pa Kalikiriki ground, even in the community itself. Ni manje share papenenze market, penzo manga na kasheo takaja, ninakumba kwa na foundation yaka ya mother shelter in there. So people Kalikiriki, they will remember that our Chris Tankara now for a long time, and this time around tend to have voted Tonse. The people of Mtendere East, they also need to remember that I've been around with them. Kuja kwa weba kuja. I even did a borehole for them, but the water table was very, very high. So tinaika bore kuja na ka bridge pamoja kwa weba kuja. Tinaika ka bridge koshita connect kwa mene kuja chef with the community. So I've been around with the community for a long time also from there. Kumtendele ni kunyumba kwa watu. Ndina wapu A, so ku B, ku C, ku D. Vazi wanoziwa wantu. Tati, we are set, the people of Mtendele, we are set that this is the only one that will be able to help us here in Mtendele. Vantu waka ringa, they should also know that I'm a person who has done a lot also in Kalingalinga. Mabola kuja ku ground, ku big market kuja. We have done football tournaments. I'm also supporting these women that are playing football, these young girls that are playing football. I'm also supporting and encouraging them from there. Ku clinic kuja tunashitirapo ma football tournaments yambiri hapo, and also they should also know that kalingalinga police pamenenzi hapo kalingalinga mo hapo banayindo imangira kuja kumbuyo kuja. People never knew where it was because there was no signpost, there was no flag there. But I took it upon myself to go and put a signpost which is there at the road. So ngati wejo upita kuja along Arinkata road wakaona ka signpost ka kalingalinga police post patch. Just know that it is me who put it there. Ukaona flag just know that over Chris ndiona ikakapoa ka ndiona ikapona flag patch. Yes, that is also for the community. Kukaunda Square, people should know that in fact I have my cousin, my older sister, the way we call it, we call ourselves in Kaunda Square there. I have stayed there, and that I know all the challenges, and I know that Ija clinic Ija was closing at 18 hours, 17 hours. But now I'm happy that it's working 24/7. Kaka police kaja, they need, it is too small now for our community because our community has grown. So we need some kind of an upgrade. If it means that we need to move it, we can do that. But if it means tikapange ka upstairs ache pamene paja, I think it is important for us to do an upgrade from there. And then nama roads kuchoka chepa Methodist kupita kumalasha kwenda kuja kulast ku road ya kuzafu kuja. I think that road has to be tarred. Na kwenda kupita pa market hapo, that road has to be tarred. So it will be my responsibility that I make sure that we create a better environment for our people in Munali constituency so that they are able to do business, they are able to thrive on their own. To the young people, I want to assure you that I'll pay attention in promoting skills development in Munali, because I know that a skill, and acquiring a skill, you don't need a certificate, you don't need a grade 12 certificate. You only need your interest. We only need your interest on wanting to learn. So when you want to learn, we'll be able to give you an opportunity so that you learn a skill, and when you have a skill, you can survive on your own. The job market is very difficult, and nowadays, my jobs, who you know. So if you don't know anyone, then you'll be lagging behind. And I know, it's just yesterday I was giving an example that my pressure eti nayo manyumba, mwazapi that munabana 5. Oh, you are Caesar school, we are Caesar school, we are Caesar school. Then my parents, they still have the same job, the same salary, and then ibajabana, my demand enda yakula. So panyumba pa mkala manje sometimes mwuka kusema iyo kasi takira konchito. Aenda kujasa na pesa nchito, ankara frustrated mwana mpeza ati palasi kuchirika tu umaye wake kazimu karipira watu wake kazimu karipira azaenda kubaku jamani kubaa pesa wanzake palasi ankara mwana junk mwana. Palasi futi mzapeza ati mwambao kwamba te mwankala maningi maule mchani mkomboni. It's because of the pressure that they are growing up and they have nothing to do. So we really need to pay a lot of attention. But development in Munali can only be successful if our young people are taken care of, and I'll pay a lot of attention to our young people. So all you young people that are there, the women that are there, I'm giving you hope that the future of our constituency lies between with you, the young people, and also you, the women, so that you wake up that particular day to go and vote for Crispin Chinda, and we can help each other, and that at least you have a leader that understands you.
Okay. Viewers, that was Mr. Crispin Chinda, popularly known as Chris Mo, 2026 aspiring candidate for Munali constituency. Sir, thank you so much for coming through. It is a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Keep inviting me so that people can see that cancer Chris na chizongwanga kambe na chinyanja ichi bati shimikira buno bwino mamine baizivira Munali buno bwino. So when we go to parliament, for us we'll be speaking in English because it's our official language. But tikabwira mkomboni we'll be speaking our local language so that people are able to understand what we are saying. Thank you, Joe, for inviting me.
Okay, you're welcome, Mr. Chinda. And it was a pleasure hosting you, sir. But at least I've learned history of Munali and Lusaka at large. Thank you so much, Mr. Chinda, and thank you, the viewers out there, for having tuned in to this particular broadcast. On behalf of my guest, Mr. Crispin Chinda, and my director upstairs, I have been host, Joe Smarter is my name. We'll see you when you see us. Good morning.
all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In forgotten stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.